Hi, I'm Billy Mitchell with FedScoop TV. Today I'm here with Greg Garcia, the Executive Director of the U.S. Army Information Technology Agency.
Hey Billy, how you doing?
Doing great. Great to have you here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So the theme here today at Brocade's Federal Forum 2015 is breaking the network status quo, kind of advancing past those legacy systems that the federal government has depended on for so long. So first question, easy softball. What do you think are the big factors driving IT and innovation in 2015?
So for me, it's really the budget.
Yeah.
As you know, with the Department of Defense, we're facing sequestration again, and there are specific targets to really use every dollar we have available for the warfighting capability of our great Army and our great DoD. So they're really turning to us to consume less and provide the same great level of service. So that really drives this innovation loop. We're not getting more money, so we have to think differently, and that's the thing that we have to work through is we have had a legacy buildup of networks, of applications, of really how and where people manage part of that information stack. So I think that whole disruptive change of the cloud and virtualization and really maybe web app approach versus system approach is really driving this change. And then there really is some great economics in that allow us to reap those required reductions in cost while giving that great capability to our warfighters. So I see the budget being a big part of that. The other part is the cyber. Mm-hmm. Cybersecurity is continuing to be a very leapfrog technology and threat and response. The Army's concept of operation is win in a complex world, and that really requires vigilance and innovation to counter the counter. As you've seen in the media, it's a 24/7. Cybersecurity's always got to be thought about, addressed, and planned and focused on while you do this operational capability. I think those two things between budget, the complexity of cyber, and really the complex world that we're living in, we have to really be agile to be able to get some of these benefits of the commercial evolution, that some of it's revolution. A big part of that is the culture of innovation.
Of course.
And working with people through those risk-adverse, risk-acceptable decisions to provide that transition path.
Sure. So one of the things we've heard today in the general session and elsewhere is the modernization of the network. And I'm just wondering how you guys at Army Information Technology Agency are kind of handling this upgrade and what changes you're making to manage that.
So one of the things the DoD is working towards is the Joint Integrated Environment, the JIE. A part of that is the recognition of we really can't build complete networks at every camp, post, and station that we have. That's 230 plus instances of something, and that gets difficult to manage, difficult to afford, and difficult to protect. Mm-hmm. So really the construct is how do I simplify that network that serves the DoD mission while ensuring robust, coherent security aspects of that. So in the JIE, we're looking at standardization, collapsing camps, posts, and stations behind joint regional security stacks. The first joint regional security stacks down at Joint Base San Antonio, we actually have sort of the prototype we've been running. The Pentagon is basically a joint base in its greatest sense. A security stack there that became the sort of the baseline of where JRS started. So really managing the complexity, having fewer variables, looking at an MPLS routing, significant capability, and global connectivity. Our portion of that is the LAN WarNet from the Army that contributes to the DoD information network, and working through those challenges and activities to keep that, again, relevant to the mission and secure to protect the mission.
Sure. So there's a lot of elements that go into this network modernization. The servers, storage, virtualization, data centers are one. So what are some best practices you're seeing with dealing with those things, including even like the Internet of Things is the big buzzword?
Yeah. I'll talk about the Internet of Everything. That's what I like
Sure.
to talk about, right? So it's not the Internet of Things. It's going to be the Internet of Everything, right? If you think about it, you're going to hack in your refrigerator to get to your car. It's going to be really complex, right? It's going to be all connected, and especially in a mission that's global, that persistent and prevalent communication is going to be required on everything we do. But back to the elements of network modernization, we've looked at virtualization of many, many things. So what I like to talk about also is not only the virtualization piece, but the as a service piece. We want to begin to consume things as a service. There's a capital expense versus operating expense calculus in there somewhere. And that's one of the things we're trying to examine, is where we can consume something as a service without having to spend that capital investment period and then having to manage all that through its life cycle. So we've virtualized the desktop in ITA for the joint staff customer. We're on a virtual desktop infrastructure. We're moving to that implementation for the headquarters Department of Army. There are some other interested parties in that. We've moved to a hyper-converged back end of that, where we're combining compute and storage into a single application or device, and leveraging the power of both of that for the changing missions that we have. Virtualized storage, looking at deduplication, replication, and maybe de-evolution of data that's not used on a day-to-day basis that needs to be stored, and thinking about that smartly, where the data and the cost of that storing that data kind of migrates based upon use or demand, but you still got to have it. And then again, the network itself is, we talk about network functions virtualized. How do you do virtual firewalls, virtual routing? We have many VRFs in the Pentagon, avoiding that cost of hardware and things that are a little bit more flexible to change and manage from a software viewpoint.
Awesome. So we talked a lot about the new data flow, the modernized networks, but the thing is, first you have to buy it. Is there anything that you guys are doing on the IT planning or acquisition side that's kind of make this a lot easier with buying these new technologies?
Yeah. I think one of the great things we do is we have a chief technology office that really does robust industry partner engagement. There are a lot of promises, there's a lot of great capability, but we got to figure out the sweet spot between affordable, practical, and implementable. And that's the challenge, is that we are sort of the center of national security in the Pentagon. We can't really be on the bleeding edge, because that's not good. So we have to figure out what's really has a risk profile that's acceptable for innovation, and that sometimes a bit blurry on the kind of data that we manage. So some of that's like public data, you're going to probably see it go to the cloud very rapidly. Some that's maybe for official use, it will be a little bit more deliberate. That's classified will be even more deliberate. So it's based upon the type of information, the type of data, and the ability to take risk and balance that risk.
Makes sense. Well, Greg, that's all I have for you today.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Yeah, thanks for joining us. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'm Billy Mitchell of FedScoop TV. Thanks for watching.